Making our way out of the Bottle Grotto, we make our way back to Mabe Village so that way we can return Bow Wow to Madame Meow Meow. Walking into Bow Wow's house, Madame Meow Meow is very appreciative for all the things that we've done for her, and so she gives us a reward. Big ol' smooch. After that, we make our way to the southern end of Ukuku Prairie, and we find the slime dungeon. Unfortunately, we don't have the key yet, so we're going to take the advice of the owl and try to go meet a man named Richard. Heading just a little bit further to the south, we arrive at Richard's villa, and we can cut down some of his grass because we're little delinquents, and we can head inside and talk to him. Entering the villa and dodging the frogs jumping around on the floor, we talk to Richard, and he tells us that he definitely has something that we need. But, in return, he needs us to go to Kanalet Castle and get 5 leaves that may have been scattered around the castle. Making our way over to Kanalet Castle, which is here on the map, just as a reference, we make our way over to the right and we see a monkey, and we talk to him, because monkeys can talk. Immediately upon talking to him, he sees that we have the bananas, and I give them to the monkey because what else are we going to do with these bananas? Just in case you don't already know, you get the bananas in the parts of the trade sequence. If you haven't seen already how to get them, I went over how to get all the way to the bananas in our Mabe Village guide. I'm going to put one of those little cool YouTube information things in the top right to link to that video, just in case you guys want to go see that. So yeah. Other than that though, the monkey leaves a stick on the ground, which is going to help us progress in our trade quest later, and we head across the little bridge that he made and try to chop down a little bush, and which unveils a little passageway into the castle. Making our way through the little side-scrolling section, we pretty much come right out into the backyard of the castle, where we can start trying to collect these leaves. Making our way all the way around the exterior of the castle, but still inside the walls, of course, we kill a couple of different dark nuts, and then we make our way to this sort of whack-a-mole situation. Here we fight a mad bomber, and there's also another dark nut above it with a sword and shield. I would recommend getting rid of him first, just to make things a little bit easier, but it's basically just your typical game of whack-a-mole here. Just as soon as he comes out, make your way over to him and try to avoid the bombs that he throws, and take him out to get a gold leaf. Heading in the front door, we're going to avoid this weird thing floating around that's called a bubble for some reason, and we're going to make our way over to these dark nuts with the spears and kill them, as well as the red Zol, and that's going to drop a gold feather from the roof, so we collect it, and that makes 2. Heading up into the other half of the room, we're going to take care of all the enemies here and push this little button, which is going to show us a little scene where we open the front gates of the castle. This is going to be nice because that way we won't have to go back through the little underground tunnel later. So yeah, recommend that. Making our way into the next room, we see a spark riding around the room, so dodge him if you can. And we're going to need bombs in this room. If you don't already have those, you may need to return to the shop in Mabe Village to buy some, because they're not really all that expensive. But you're going to use it on the 2 bomb spots on the walls where 2 dark nuts are going to fly out, and then the second one is going to drop your 3rd gold leaf. Making our way out onto the balcony and into the next room, we're going to notice that there's some sort of weird door here. I obviously didn't know what I was doing the first time, but you want to take one of the pots, and the door has a pot symbol on it, so, you know, obviously you should throw a pot at it. No big deal here. Entering this room, we fight a ball and chain soldier. This is by far the hardest enemy in the whole castle, and it's basically just going to be you trying to hold your shield out until he throws it, and then you just hit him as much as you can, but watch out, because when he pulls it back into himself, it'll hit you on the way back. But obviously, not too bad, just rinse and repeat, boom bam, 4th gold feather. No big deal. So at this point, you're probably asking yourself where the 5th gold feather is, because you went through the whole castle and there's nothing there. It's actually, we've already passed it, and I had to look this up because, I mean, it doesn't follow the rest of the whole killing the dark nuts to get it sort of theme here. But you pick up the rock and you throw it at the bird, and then once the bird comes to attack you, you take care of the bird, no big deal, and boom bam, there's your 5th gold feather. No, you know, not hard, just out of the ordinary, I guess, compared to the rest of it. Making our way back to Richard's villa, we talk to him one more time, and he tells us Thank you so much for gathering all my golden feathers," pretty much. And then he backs up and lets us push a little stone out of the way, which uncovers a hidden underground tunnel. Going down into this tunnel, it's a pretty straightforward shot, but if you do take the left path, you'll get a chest with a seashell in it. These are one of the collectibles in the game if you haven't already noticed. But yeah, there's one of them just in case you needed it. But yeah, so we're just going to head up the stairs and into his very heavily overgrown backyard. All you basically need to do here is just chop in front of you and make sure you take your time with this, or else you're just going to fall in a hole. It's not overly complicated, just really, you know, watch where you're going, I guess. There is a heart piece in the top right corner of this little backyard, like a weeded area or whatever. We can't actually get that heart piece until we beat the third dungeon and get the item out of it, so we'll come back to that in just a little while, I guess. But yeah, once we make it to the top, we talk to this little bird, and he tells us you basically need to dig where you're standing at, and boom bam, we got the slime key, and we can now move on to the third dungeon. So, of course, now that we have the slime key, we move on to the third dungeon, but we're going to save that for the next episode. So, thank you guys so much for watching this. Hopefully you guys found this guide a little bit helpful. I know I had to look up and find out where that 5th gold feather is, so hopefully I helped you guys out a little bit. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next guide.